we'll get started on something. All right, everybody, we are ready to get started here on our very first YouTube video. We're going to start really simple here and walk you through changing a fuel filter. This is a 60 series Detroit on a Freightliner, and it happens to have this style fuel filter, which is called a Fuel Pro. It's probably the most common style of fuel filter. Now, some vehicles also have a spin-on filter in addition to this, but on this truck we only have this unit right here. Very easy to change and maintain. It's nice, you can see through the glass and see how when it's time to change a filter. How it works is this line here comes from your fuel tanks and goes in, and any water or contaminants will settle to the bottom, and the fuel sits at this level down here, and as the filter plugs, it plugs from the bottom up. So as your fuel filter plugs, you'll see the level rise here. Shouldn't necessarily let it go all the way to the top. I should have changed this about 2 days ago, but I wanted to make a video on it, so I held off. So the fuel gets sucked through there, through the filter, and then comes out this line and goes to your fuel pump, or fuel transfer pump, I should say, and then to up to your injectors. So all your trucks have a primed fuel system, which means they're under, well, some people say pressure or suction. Basically, anything before the transfer pump is under suction. Anything after the pump it's pressurized up to the fuel rail. So when dealing with your fuel system here, you just want to be careful never to run it completely out of fuel, because you'll lose your prime, and then you're gonna have a heck of a time getting it started after that. So we're just gonna be diligent here not to run this thing out of fuel while we're doing this, and I'll show you how to do it along the way. Now, most of your quick lubes do a really half a job on this. They don't do a complete job. Basically, well, let me explain here first. To change it, we're going to loosen this ring here, and this cap is going to come off. So to illustrate the pressure of the suction, when I loosen this cap, you might see this fuel level change a little bit because it's releasing the suction. I don't know, went down about 1/8 of an inch. I don't know how well you can see that on the video. So anyway, the first thing you do, there's a drain on the bottom here, a drain hole and then a valve. You open up the valve. First thing we'll do is drain it down to about here, and then we'll take it apart, and that's about as far as your quick lubes go, and a lot of shops for that matter. And that's just not the complete way to do it, and I'm going to show you why when we get that far. But to start, let's get this top sight glass part off here, and then we'll continue. Hopefully you can see everything okay. Oh, I guess before we start, I'll show you what tools you need. This handy dandy wrench here is specifically for these Fuel Pros. Now, there's a couple different sizes. With the new Freightliner Cascadias, they have a much bigger filter unit here, so the wrench will be way bigger. But you can get these for about $20 at, I don't know, whatever truck dealer or Napa or whatever. Just tell them you want a wrench for a Fuel Pro or a Davco, and this is what you get. Or you can get them on Amazon or eBay. Now, this big area here is for this big collar down here. This little section here is for this top piece, okay? Now, at one point I had changed this because the old one was kind of cracked and needed changing. So this new style one, you can just spin off by hand. The old style one had much closer notches, so you would just put this on there and loosen it up. Okay. Like I said, this new one here, can come off right by hand. They did that to, people tend to reef on these and crack them. So this prevents that. So once you get it tight, it'll just click and it won't go any tighter. There's an O-ring that sits in here. Okay. So we want to make sure that when we put the new filter in, we put in a new O-ring. So now that we have this thing opened up here, we're going to drain some fuel out. Don't drain it on the ground. Be responsible, use a bucket. Okay, one thing I wanted to show you. Find a little cup and drain some into a cup here. Okay? And then look at it. This can tell you a lot about what's going on inside your motor or your fuel system. Okay? I know you can't see in the camera, but if you had antifreeze in here, that's really bad. So my antifreeze is red. It'll tend to settle to the bottom of that filter unit because it doesn't mix with the water, or the fuel rather. And can't see it. I have some black specks in there. You know, any big pieces that get filtered out of your fuel are going to go down and settle in the bottom there. And you just want to see what it is. It can tell you if you have oil in there, which is another very bad sign. Like I said, antifreeze. Or if you know you got some really bad fuel and you got some crud in there. But take a look, you need to know, and it's very handy. Here, I'll dump some fuel out. You can see some chunks in there. Okay, now that's not necessarily oil. I had an issue here a little while back of some injector problems, and I was getting some carbon back up into my fuel system. I had bad injector O-rings, so it contaminated my fuel, and it's just taking a little bit for that to work out. But other than that, there's no antifreeze, there's no oil, so we're looking good. Antifreeze, now if you have green antifreeze, your fuel is also somewhat green, but you'll see that it does not look right. It looks gritty if you have antifreeze in there, and it looks really nasty. You'll know. You don't necessarily have to just go by the color. So I'm going to drain some more fuel out of there. And also dispose of this properly. Do not put this fuel back in your new filter. Do not, do not, do not, because it's contaminated. All right, so I drained it down to about this collar, which is the way they're going to do it at your quick lubes and a lot of shops. I'm going to continue taking this apart and show you why that's just not the whole story. There's not necessarily anything wrong with going to the quick lubes. You just need to, I don't know, I watch them and make sure that they're doing things right. Okay, so here's this. There's another O-ring right here. Okay, this O-ring seats between this piece of plastic and the metal of the filter base. So every filter will come with a new one. Here's your filter. You just pop that out. Oops, I could have drained a little more. I spilled a little bit, so forgive me. Okay. In fact, I'll drain a little more right now. Make this a little easier. Cleaner. Okay, now there's a little nipple that sits here. That's part of the filter. It makes a tight seal there so it can make suction. The new filter will come with a new one of these. So, you know, just pay attention how it came off. Don't forget to replace it. Don't leave it on there. You don't need to double it up there. So, let me grab a flashlight quick. Boy, it's just too cloudy to see. I'm just going to drain the rest of that fuel out of there, and then I'll show you. I'm making a little bit of a mess here, but it's not too bad. Wasn't really prepared with the right size bucket, I'm sorry. Alright, so we'll just leave that valve open. The fuel's drained out. And now I'm going to show you why it's a good idea to go this far with it. Hopefully you can see it with the camera. Alright, see all that black gunk down in there? That shouldn't be there. That needs to go away, because that could end up in your engine. And you'll say, well, the filter will catch it. But I'm going to tell you how the filter may not catch it. So you saw how this filter was to the top of the glass bowl. Now the good news is, with this style of filter, if the filter plugs, the truck will continue to run. Alright, I dropped the camera, so where did I leave off? Okay, the good news is, if that filter plugs up, your truck will continue to run. It won't leave you stranded on the side of the road. However, if it gels up, that's a different story. You will be stranded on the side of the road. But just from having too much dirt in it, it'll keep running. This style filter goes into a bypass, which it allows the filter, or the fuel rather, to bypass your filter, so the truck will still run. Which is good news, but it's also bad news, because anything that's in that fuel is not going to get filtered. That's going to go straight to your injectors, and that can be a real problem and do some damage rather quickly. All that black gunk in there is left from when I still had that injector problem. So yours typically, hopefully, won't look like that. And then if you notice it doesn't, you don't have to go this far down with the fuel every time and do this thorough of a job. But I would anyway, because if you're doing it, why not do it right? So how are we going to get that out of there? Some people would use brake clean, some people would use ether. I would prefer to use carb cleaner, because if you leave some residue in there, at least this is a little bit more compatible with the fuel. Ether, yeah, it'd probably evaporate out, not be a big deal. Brake clean, I would not want brake clean in my fuel. So it's probably much ado about nothing, but this is my livelihood, and I don't want to do anything that could potentially cause me a problem. So we got the valve open on the bottom still. I'm just going to squirt, you know, you can't see it on the camera, but black stuff is just running out the bottom here. Now that black stuff in there is carbon. It's not oil. It's not dirt. But the problem I had, my injector O-rings were leaking, which was letting carbon from the cylinders back up into my injectors. And I actually ended up ruining 2 injectors in the process. So it's very expensive, very, very expensive, especially since the first shop I went to, a Freightliner shop, didn't diagnose it right, didn't fix the problem, but yet charged thousands of dollars. If, you know, too bad, so sad. And then I went to a Detroit shop in Milwaukee, and they knew instantly what it was. So, you know, finding the right shop is priceless. So yeah, anyway, clean this up a little bit here. Might be overdoing it a little bit, but we're just fine. This is all going to come out. We're not going to leave any of this stuff in there. Once we rectify this problem, it shouldn't continually be like this. And if you have been going to quick lube, or a mechanic who's not doing it right, you'll have that much crud in there just from it not being done in so long. It needs to be done. Clean around the rim here, clean your threads, swipe everything off good. You don't want to leave anything undone here. So we're looking much better in there now. Gosh dang, it's hard to see here and not upset the camera. Sorry about that. You don't want to breathe this stuff in either. Really not good for you. Okay, I'm going to pause the camera here for a minute because I need to use this space where I have the camera set like a contortionist, so I can get in there and get it clean. You can see what I'm doing. I'll be right back when I have it clean and show you. Alright folks, it's me again. So I got this baby all cleaned up here. Let me show you down inside so you can see what it looks like now. See how clean that is? Got a little bit of staining there. That's just staining, that's not dirt. But you could see black chunks in there before, couldn't you? Now they're all gone. So that's a job well done right there. Now we'll pull our bucket out of here because we're done dumping stuff. Make sure you recycle that or something. Don't just dump it somewhere like a jerk. Close the valve down here because now we're going to want to hold fuel in because we're going to work on putting her back together. Okay. So get the proper filter for your vehicle. Just because it's a davco filter, this style filter, doesn't mean it's the right one. There's different microns and stuff like that. So I don't really care about what brand you want to use. It's personal preference. Some people, oh, Fleetguard is the best, Donaldson's the best, whatever. You decide for yourself. I don't like to play that game. I like Donaldson filters. I got a really good deal on a case of them, so that's what I bought. Last time, I believe I used the Lubrifiner filters. They all do a fine job. Sometimes I'll use a Napa filter, but this is what I have now. Before we put that on there, all right, now I dropped the camera again. Told you this is my first video, so bear with me. Maybe I'll set a record for the most times dropping a camera for a new video on YouTube. What I was gonna say, you should always carry some clean fuel in your side box, at least a gallon. It'll get you through a filter change in a pinch. Yes, this jug looks dirty on the outside, but in the inside it's clean. And this is a must. You really need to carry some fuel with you. So before we put the filter on, let's fill this up a little bit down here. It'll just make it easier for us later. Now I wiped all this out inside. In addition to that, try not to leave any fibers behind off your rag or whatever you use. This is just not a good thing to do. So we'll open up our new filter here. Here's those rubber O-rings I was telling you about. Now, like I said, every new filter will have that new nipple in there. Okay? Should be already attached, but if it's not, skinny part up, big part down. All you're going to do is, it's going to go over this stud here, because that's where the fuel, you know, the fuel comes in from your tanks here, fills up this bowl, and then goes through the filter. It's going to go in this hole and out this line to your fuel transfer pump. I'm just going to put this on here, just push it into place, just snug it up. You don't need to put your weight on it, just snug it up. Okay, so I'm going to open the gaskets here, the O-rings. Okay, here's this little one. Oh, there it goes again. Let's not drop the camera again. Okay, just gonna put the new one on here. I'm gonna get a little bit of fuel on my finger and just kind of lube it a little bit, just get it wet so that when you're turning it on, you know, the O-ring kind of slides a little bit and doesn't bunch up on you. So we'll set that aside for a second. Now this thing, let's clean this up inside and out. Just going to use a little bit of it. See, now here's a part where if you use brake cleaner can be pretty harsh on plastic, and that's just not what we want here. And wipe that out good. You know, this stuff can be a little harsh on plastic too, I guess. Cloud it up a little, but it'll be just fine. We're just trying to clean it here. If you can see down in there, there's a spring. Kind of holds that filter down. Okay. Clean around this. This is where your O-ring seats. You know, if you don't get that clean, it can leak. I'm going to put the O-ring on here, just like so. And I'm going to do the same thing. Get a little fuel on my finger and just lubricate that just a little bit. Okay, now we're ready to put this back in place. We need our ring. I'll wipe this ring up a little bit too. I did that already, so put the ring on there like that. Okay, get it back in place here, put it on. Okay, I don't know, this is the way I like to do it. I like to get this thing lined up so it seats properly on that base. Drop your O-ring down. Then I like to hold it down. I don't like this to spin when I'm tightening this, because I don't want that O-ring spinning. I just want it to sit there. So you can spin this by hand. Just be careful not to cross thread it, because that'll just leak and then you'll hate yourself later. Okay, we got it on there. Now we're going to tighten it up. Keep in mind this is only plastic, so don't go torquing on it like a strong man. Just get your teeth lined up. I have it fairly loose yet. The space is kind of tight here, so you kind of got to do it like 1/8 of a turn at a time. Okay, we're almost there. Now, when you get so tight, this is going to turn, there's nothing you're really going to do about it. And that's why we lubricate that O-ring, so it can slide a little bit and not bunch up on you. Okay, that's plenty tight. What we got to do left then is put some fuel in there. What did I do with my funnel? 1 second, I gotta find my funnel. Well, wouldn't you know it, I can't find my funnel, so we're gonna do it the hard way and probably spill a little bit. But let's go ahead and dump fuel in here once again. Clean fuel. Do not reuse the fuel you took out of the bottom, ever, for any reason. I don't care if you say, I don't have any other fuel. Do not use that fuel. Suffer through it. Figure it out. We'll find some. Better yet, carry a hose and suck some out of your fuel tank. There you go. See if I can do this without spilling. Yeah, I'm making a mess, I know. Now since we drained that way down, I'm going to put more fuel in it than I normally would. Now you can see the level going down. It's because what's happening is it's soaking through the filter there, getting to the middle so it can, you know, be taken in by the engine. We'll just let that happen a little bit. It gurgles a little bit, so we'll put some more fuel in here. Some people only fill it up, you know, to here. It hurts nothing to fill it all the way up, because what's going to happen when you start the truck, it may suck it up because you're trying to suck it through a brand new filter, but then it'll go down. It'll seek its own level, okay? If it's not meeting resistance, it won't rise till it meets resistance, and it'll rise above it as the filter plugs. You know, there's a mark here, gets up to that black, time to change it. Maybe even a little bit sooner. Plus, back to the thing about the system being primed, you don't want to run this out of fuel when you start the truck, because that means you lost your prime, and then you got some work to do. Different, and the reason I'm not showing you how to fix that is every engine is different. You'll have a plunger somewhere, you know, with the Cats it's right here. Cummins, I don't know, they have a lift pump in them, I know, but just give yourself some breathing room here. Put some more fuel in it. That's why we carry a whole gallon. And we allow for some spillage here. I'll clean this up. This is my property. I'm not doing this in a truck stop. There. Alright, now we got our little cap here that we put the O-ring on earlier. Spin this on. The new style cap will click when it's tight. There, hopefully you heard that. Clean up my mess here a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to start the truck. Hopefully the camera doesn't fall again. And then maybe you'll see what happens, the fuel level when I start it. And also, you may want to just be on the gas pedal a little bit to, you know, you may suck an air bubble, whatever. You just want to make sure you keep it running. This truck isn't all that picky. You can start it, run it for 20 seconds and know you're good. Some trucks, you need to run it for a good solid minute or so to get that system fully primed again. Especially if you have spin-on filters. You know, you're going to get some air in the system. I don't have spin-on fuel filters, but I have an idea. I guess next time I change an oil filter, it's the same concept. I'll show you how to treat it as if it was a fuel filter, and then you can see what the deal is with that. But I'm going to start the truck now, and hopefully the camera doesn't fall again. success. Oh, you can see the fuel level going down a little bit. That's perfectly normal. Now, if you start the truck and you see air bubbles coming up from the bottom here, okay, that means you're sucking air in somewhere. That's not good. These bubbles that are coming are just from that voided space inside the filter. That's okay. You can see how the fuel level dropped. That's perfectly normal. That's what you want to see. And if the truck chug-a-lugs, means that you got some air, you need to punch the gas to keep her going, or it's going to stall out on you, and then you'll struggle with it to get your prime back. So over the next couple of days, that fuel level will drop more. Probably settle on them right about here. That's what we're looking for. So looks good. Job well done. I got to clean up my mess here, and if that was helpful. Hopefully I explained things too good, or maybe I talked too much. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. You think I did it all wrong and I'm stupid? Well, let me know that too. I got thick skin. But so yeah, subscribe and hit the like button and tell a friend and all that jazz, and help me get the YouTube algorithm on my side here, so that we can get these videos out to more people and hopefully help some people. All right, thanks for watching.